that we have to choose is something we work across the aisle. You know, politicians and our elected leaders are there for a reason. We put them there. It's their opportunity to be able to work together, come together, and do what's best for their constituents. If we're worried about what side of the aisle we're sitting on, nothing gets accomplished, whether it has anything to do with property tax, the budget, education, healthcare. You would be flabbergasted to see how quickly things can be accomplished if the aisles work together and we reach across. And I think this is an opportunity to see this election that there are several Democrats supporting different candidates. There are Republicans supporting myself as a Democrat. And I think that's a show of the opportunity that we have if we work together.
I agree wholeheartedly. I really don't like to see that division. They had said one of the things you ought to do in Washington, D.C. is alternate how they sit in the chamber, one Democrat, one Republican, one woman, and so on. And maybe that would solve the problem, I don't know. I'm a firm believer that, just take Dr. Jen and I for example, we could have an issue. She would have an idea of how to solve that issue. I would have an idea of how to solve that issue. Both of them are a little different, but can you imagine what happened if the two of us got together? What kind of a big idea we could end up with?
And now a rebuttal if you choose. Mr. Moyer, do you choose to do it? Okay, now we begin the questions from the audience. Do you favor or oppose a nonpartisan commission to draw legislative and congressional districts? And with this question, we begin with Mr. Moyer.
Well, to draw districts to favor one party or another, I'm against. I don't see any significance of that. I don't see what that accomplishes. If we really truly want to bring the two parties together to really serve the people and to serve this country, we have to stop that kind of nonsense. Who should outline the district? Perhaps the courts. How about all of you? How about all of you put the idea in where those lines should be drawn?
I wholeheartedly agree the fact that the idea of gerrymandering is such a shock to me when I even found out how it's done. Regardless of who is in power at the moment in the House, whether it's the Democrats, the Republicans, the fact that we can have such a biased sanction for our district lines being drawn. I mean, looking at the map, it is absolutely ridiculous to see, you know, salamandering type districts that have nothing to do with the same area. We have people who are in suburban areas that are connected somehow through these ridiculous maps with people in rural areas, and they're not the same. The differences are tremendous. Look at our own district. Lewisburg, Selinsgrove, tremendous difference between Beaver Springs and Hartleton. You know, it's a tremendous difference to see, and if we're drawing maps every census year based on who it is, it's biased.
Mr. Moyer, do you choose to do a rebuttal?
Everything about that is sad.
Dr. Jen?
The only thing I do want to add is the fact that the solution of having this unbiased, separate party being able to draw the lines, it takes the question, the concern, wondering whether something was truly gerrymandered or whether it was done appropriately. Having this commissioned body being able to do that is fair representation for all parties involved.
Question 5 is this. Given that a bipartisan majority of Pennsylvanians support a shift to clean, renewable energy by 2030, if elected, will you support House Bill 1425, the bill currently in the state legislature that calls for a shift to renewable energy by 2050? And we will begin this question with Dr. Jen.
The idea of clean, renewable energy is a win-win situation. Not only does it help the environment, but it helps the economy as well. When you have a resource such as coal, I'm a coal miner's daughter, so certainly respect that field. But there's only so much coal to mine. When it's done, just like my father, the mine's closed and a whole family is devastated. When you have renewable energy resources, that's not going to happen. Not only is that not going to happen, it's going to be cleaner and safer for the environment. And so I have that ability to set up that future for my son to be able to live in a clean and healthy environment, but also have energy resources that are going to be renewable and set for him.
I also would support clean and energy environment. So whatever bills or issues would come up, I would support those. You know, we have an area here that's really not being used very well, and perhaps there's industries that can be set up in there, and that's our Great Stream Commons up the line here from us, but probably it's not being used efficiently at all. On the clean air energy, there was a website that I recently logged into accidentally, and which happens a lot. But it was talking about a solar type energy, and you might want to check this out. It's supposed to be cost effective. It doesn't require huge panels in your backyard. This thing really, it stacks on top of each other. It's roughly a 12-inch square, and it's about 4 foot high. Now I'm doing more research on this because I'm not sure how this will run my refrigerator, but I'm certainly going to check it out.
Dr. Jen, do you choose to do a rebuttal? Mr. Moyer? Question 6. If elected, what would be your top priority for reducing gun violence while protecting the rights of law-abiding gun owners? Please be specific. Mr. Moyer, we'll begin with you.
That is a very difficult question. It's a double-edged sword. You have the person who is pro-gun on one side of that sword and the person who's against guns on the other side of the sword. I would not want to do anything to abolish the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment was put there for a reason. We do not want a tyrannistic government, and it could happen. We never know what a human being is capable of. Do I support an individual owning an AR-15? No, not really. Why does an individual have to have an AR-15, whether it be automatic or semi-automatic? If they're afraid of tyrannous government, realistically, if we have to go up against the government, we have our AR-15s, we're going to go against the military. You think the AR-15 is going to do as much good? I don't think so. So, I don't want to take away guns from the individuals. I'm a gun owner myself. I own 5 of them. I use them recreationally, and I use them for protection. And I don't want to give that up.
Finally, something we can agree to disagree. I knew it would come out there somewhere. But at least we're both gun owners. I not only am a gun owner, but I have a concealed carry permit, which is something that I am proud to exercise. And I certainly don't want to take away that ability. I think there is a difference between those who want to own guns and those who want to ban the guns. There's a lot of gray area in between. It's certainly not black and white, like several other issues that we'll probably be talking about. One of the specific laws that I will target is the issue of being able to sell a long barrel gun in the state of Pennsylvania without any type of background check. You could go to a flea market tomorrow, buy a long barrel gun without any questions. And I certainly think that if we're willing to get behind the wheel of a car and take the responsibility of something that can happen there, that we can do the same if we want a long barrel gun.
Mr. Moyer, do you choose to do a rebuttal?
Well, there's one additional thing I'd like to add to that. I know this is an issue that's on everybody's mind because of the recent killings that have occurred. One of the things that happened is the individual who bought his weapon actually went to another state to buy a weapon. It didn't have the same laws as the state where he committed the crime in. So it has to go across state lines if these laws if we're going to incorporate them.
Dr. Jen?
Just to add a little bit on that too,